Imagine a computer so incredibly small that it easily fits right in the palm of your hand. Now, imagine that exact same tiny silver box is actually more powerful than a massive, $3,000 professional workstation. For a very long time, this idea seemed completely impossible. It sounded like pure science fiction. But the technology world is about to be turned completely upside down. We are looking at a brand new machine that will change everything you know about desktop computers forever. This is the real story of the upcoming M5 Mac Mini. It is a computer that physically defies physics and shatters all the old industry rules. Behind closed doors, it is already being called the ultimate Mac studio killer. The Gateway Mac gets serious. For over 10 years, the Mac Mini had a very specific reputation. It was always known simply as the cheap option. It was the entry-level gatekeeper to the Apple ecosystem. People usually bought the Mac Mini when they simply could not afford a true pro-level model like the Mac Pro or the big iMac. It was a basic, simple little box. You would normally find it sitting quietly in a small home office, or maybe hidden away in a dark server closet. It was never the star of the show. It did basic daily tasks very well, but no one ever expected it to be a creative powerhouse. It was the reliable worker, not the world-class athlete. However, everything started to shift very recently. In late 2024, the M4 redesign kicked off a brand new era for Apple desktops. That machine showed the entire world that small computers could actually do some serious heavy lifting. But even that M4 model was just a tiny preview of what was coming next. As we sit here right now in 2026, Apple is getting ready to release something truly mind-blowing. The M5 Fusion architecture. The upcoming M5 Mac Mini is not just another small, boring yearly update. This is a massive leap forward in computer technology. It is a total reimagining of what a desktop computer can actually be. For the very first time ever, Apple is putting their incredible Fusion architecture into a desktop this incredibly tiny. The rumors coming straight from the overseas supply chains are getting extremely intense. Professional video editors and professional 3D artists are actually freezing their gear budgets because of this exact machine. They are flat out refusing to buy new equipment right now. They are actively holding off on buying those very expensive Mac Studio models. Why would professionals do that? Because they know the M5 Mac Mini is about to completely destroy the old idea of what a budget computer is. It brings a level of raw, unfiltered power that should absolutely not fit inside a box this small. Defying physics with advanced thermals. Most normal computers today struggle with one very basic problem. Their internal chips get way too hot. When you try to make a computer very powerful, it naturally creates a massive amount of thermal energy. To fix this heat issue, traditional computers need huge, loud, spinning fans. They also need a massive amount of electricity plugged into the wall just to keep things running safely. They become heavy, bulky, and noisy. Apple is doing the exact opposite here. They are shrinking the actual physical brain of the computer while making it significantly stronger. The brand new M5 chip is built on a highly refined 3-nanometer manufacturing process. This pushes the absolute outer limits of what modern physics even allows us to do. It is literally like trying to fit an entire bustling city inside a single grain of sand. But the most shocking part of this new silicon chip is the insane graphics power. New industry leaks are showing an unbelievable 45% jump in GPU performance. That is not just a small step forward. It is a giant, unprecedented leap for a single generation of silicon. If you edit heavy 4K or 8K video files, or if you work with complex 3D digital art, this changes your whole life. That extra graphical power means you simply do not wait for loading bars anymore. The computer works so incredibly fast that you finish your job before you even realize it. This puts the tiny Mac Mini in a direct, heavyweight fight with giant, power-hungry desktop graphics cards. We are talking about performance that perfectly rivals high-end dedicated GPUs that usually require their own massive power supplies. But this brings up a very big concern for many potential buyers. People are seriously wondering about the heat. If you put that much raw power into a tiny little box, won't it just melt on your desk? The previous M4 design was already incredibly small, sitting at roughly 5 inches by 5 inches. If this new M5 chip is so much more powerful, how in the world does it stay cool? The magic secret is hidden inside a brilliant internal redesign. Apple is using something brand new called thermal pillars. They are also utilizing highly advanced 2.5D packaging technology. This specific technology physically separates the CPU and the GPU into distinct, individual tiles on the board. Instead of having one really big hot spot right in the middle of the chip, the heat is spread out completely evenly across the whole surface area. This brilliant engineering allows the tiny Mac Mini to run at intense, pro-level speeds for hours and hours at a time. It stays perfectly dead silent while it works its hardest. It does not sound like a jet engine taking off in your bedroom. This means you can easily record high-quality audio or podcasts right next to the machine without picking up any background hum. Super cores and mind-bending memory. The custom silicon itself is really where the true magic happens. The base model M5 chip features a 10-core CPU, but it has a crazy new feature called super cores. These specific cores are made perfectly for single-threaded tasks. Single-threaded speed is what makes a computer actually feel fast when you use it for your daily tasks. When you click a very heavy application and it bounces once and opens instantly, that is the super core doing its specific job. It entirely eliminates that tiny micro delay we have all become so used to over the years. It makes the entire user experience feel fluid like water. But the M5 Pro version is where things get even crazier. It uses that brand new fusion architecture we mentioned earlier. This advanced tech literally bonds two separate pieces of silicon together into one single, unified system. The communication speed between these two parts is faster than anything we have ever seen in consumer tech before. The memory bandwidth on this Pro machine could easily go over 300 gigabytes per second. That is significantly faster than high-end custom gaming PCs that easily cost 3 times as much money. A true gaming and storage powerhouse. For the gamers watching, this is exactly the moment you have been waiting for. With the M5 chip, we are seeing hardware-accelerated ray tracing that finally competes with the best dedicated consoles on the market right now. You can play the absolute latest AAA titles at high, smooth frame rates on a quiet machine that easily fits right in your backpack. Another massive, game-changing upgrade is the internal storage. Supply chain reports say there is a brand new SSD controller hidden deep inside this box. This piece of technology could actually double the transfer speed of the older M4 drive. We are looking at crazy read and write speeds up to 14 gigabytes per second. This means you could move a massive 8K raw video file from one folder to another in just a couple of short seconds. This speed actually makes your physical storage feel exactly like extra RAM. The computer simply never has to wait for data to load ever again. It completely changes how you multitask every single day. Everything is just instantly right there the very moment you want it. The Apple Intelligence Hub. You might be asking yourself a very good question right now. Why would Apple put so much insane power into their absolute cheapest entry-level computer? Why risk making it more expensive to produce? To find the real answer, you have to look very closely at their massive, overarching plan for artificial intelligence. We are entering a brand new time where AI does not just happen on a distant, invisible server in the cloud. It happens right on your physical desk. Apple calls this Apple Intelligence. The dedicated neural engine inside the new M5 chip is rumored to be an astonishing 4 times faster than the previous M4 generation. This jump in speed is absolutely incredible. It is not just about making Siri a little bit smarter at answering trivia. It is about doing real-time video upgrades while you edit your timelines. Imagine your computer automatically upscaling your old, grainy, blurry footage to crisp 4K resolution while you sleep. It is about running massive, complex AI models completely locally on your own machine without ever needing a Wi-Fi connection. Apple truly wants the M5 Mac Mini to become the ultimate smart brain of your entire home. They want you to have a literal supercomputer sitting quietly right in your living room. Doing AI locally on the silicon allows you to handle all of your private, highly sensitive data safely and very quickly. No big tech company can see your data because it simply never leaves the silver box. It is private, it is secure, and it is incredibly fast. Made in America, the Texas shift. We also really need to talk about that massive manufacturing move to Texas. This is, without a doubt, one of the biggest corporate shifts in Apple's entire history. For decades, these machines were always built in giant factories overseas. Moving production to Houston, Texas helps Apple completely avoid messy international taxes and expensive import tariffs. It gives them total, unbreakable control over their build quality and their shipping timelines. But the actual labor costs and facility costs in the United States are much, much higher. This is exactly why the price of the computer is finally going up. The golden days of the cheap $500 Mac Mini are very likely gone forever. The brand new base model will probably start around $699. However, to make this price bump a lot easier for buyers to accept, Apple is doing something genuinely great. They are fully doubling the base storage. You will very likely get a solid 512 GB of space on the absolute cheapest base model. This makes the machine instantly much more useful right out of the box, without forcing you to buy expensive external hard drives on day one. The final verdict. The M5 Pro's brilliant fusion architecture is a direct, solid bridge to the future of computing. By perfectly bonding two chip dies together, Apple has found a magical, highly efficient way to give you ultra levels of performance in a tiny, beautiful footprint. This is exactly why the very expensive Mac Studio is in deep, deep trouble right now. Unless you are a power user who absolutely needs a massive and crazy number of plug-in ports on the back of your machine, the M5 Mini does almost everything the big Studio can do, but for just a fraction of the price. It is simply the most efficient use of physical desk space and electrical power ever designed by Apple. This small machine represents a massive, undeniable shift in how desktop computers are designed and exactly where they are built. It is a powerful, shining symbol of a brand new era of high-tech American production. Apple is loudly signaling to the world that they no longer view the Mini as just a cheap secondary device for beginners. They clearly view it as the ultimate powerhouse centerpiece of your entire digital life. It is the undisputed new king of the desktop, and it is finally here to stay for good. In my honest opinion, this is the most exciting piece of hardware Apple has produced in a decade. It completely democratizes pro-level power, giving everyday creators the tools they need to make Hollywood-level content right from their bedrooms. It is a massive win for the everyday user, and a huge wake-up call for the entire tech industry. This little silver box is absolute proof that you really don't need a giant, loud tower to change the world. If you liked the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon.